Hello everyone, welcome to the gun deck. In today's video we're going to be demonstrating the loading and firing procedures of a model gun. Here we have an 8th scale model of an English 12-pounder Armstrong pattern gun of the early 18th century. The gun is complete on a trucked naval gun carriage on a replica gun deck, complete with a breeching rope which restrains the recoil of the gun. Here you can also see the wide range of tools that we require to load and fire the cannon, which you'll find on the gun line. Primarily in this video I'm going to show you how to make prepared charges for the firing of this gun. Of course you could always load the gun manually by inserting granulated powder into the barrel by using a ladle, which is a rather messy, inefficient process. Not only do you improve your rate of fire by using cartridges, but it is a far cleaner and efficient way to load the gun. So what we have here is our munitions case, which contains our prepared paper cartridges ready for use. Here our munitions case is filled with PVC cylinders to house each cartridge separately. Each paper cartridge contains the powder, a wadding and a ball conveniently ready for use. The first thing you would need for preparing each cartridge is a very fine tracing paper. Make sure not to use what is called butcher paper, which has got a glossy finish to it, but rather what is sometimes called bumf, which is a very lightweight tracing paper which has a matte finish to it. So the first thing you would want to do is cut your bumf into 3-inch squares, which would form the casing of the cartridge. You're also going to be needing a round rod around which you can actually roll the paper, which is going to need to be around about 1 millimeter in diameter, less than the caliber of your gun. You're also going to be needing your powder measure and of course your powder flask. Place your paper cartridge square flat on the table, on which you would then place the rod, leaving about a caliber length clear from the edge of the paper. You would then proceed to roll the paper around the cylinder, after which you are going to fold the open end closed, forming a nice paper cartridge tube. Which you then place inside one of your PVC cylinders, ready for the loading process. Using your powder flask, you'll now dispense the right amount of powder into your powder measure. Which you would then pour into your paper cartridge. This would then be followed by wadding, and in this case I use a 3-inch square newspaper, which I scrunch up and insert into the cartridge. Once this is in place, you'd like to tamp all this down quite tightly, and you are now ready to insert the ball. In this case we are using a 0.62-inch caliber lead ball, which we insert into the cartridge on top of the wadding, which we also give a sturdy tamp down. To finish off the cartridge, you want to remove it from the cylinder until you can grab hold of the ball, holding it between your thumb and forefinger, and then tightly twist off the end of the cartridge paper like this. There you now have a perfectly prepared powder cartridge ready for use. Place the completed powder cartridge back into your munitions box for storage. When on the shooting range, you're going to want to keep your munitions box well to the rear of the gun line, somewhere in the order of 2 to 3 meters to the rear. And so between every shot you're going to walk back to the munitions box and retrieve a cartridge. As a safety standard, the munitions box is to be colored red and preferably display the international logo for explosives. And most importantly, the munitions case is always to be kept closed. A major advantage of this arrangement is that no spark can get between the powder cartridges because of the PVC sleeves, and the top of the cartridge is well protected because of the position of the lead ball. We can now proceed to demonstrate the loading procedure of this gun. The first order of action would be to clear the vent to ensure that it is clean and clear of any obstruction. After that, While keeping the vent hole closed with your thumb, we are going to scour the gun with the worm, ensuring there are no smouldering embers or remnants of the cartridge of the previous shot, which you are going to want to do twice. Thereafter, we are going to swab the gun using a fully wetted sponge, all the while keeping the vent hole closed with your thumb. This too you would like to do twice. The reason for keeping the vent closed during the scouring and worming of the gun is to prevent any draft in the barrel, which would reinvigorate any smouldering embers lingering in the gun. We are now ready to proceed with the loading of the gun. The gunner would then go to the rear of the gun line and retrieve a powder cartridge, which he would then insert into the barrel of the gun. Using the ramrod, the gunner would now ram the charge home, giving it 2 sturdy jabs. That all done, the gun is now ready to be primed. Inserting the vent prick into the vent, we will puncture the main powder charge. The gun captain would now prime the weapon using the powder from his priming powder flask. He would fill the vent with priming powder. The gun would now be run out in preparation of firing, and the gun captain would instruct his crew to lay the gun on target, using hand spikes to alter the traverse of the gun and the elevation coin to alter the elevation. Once he is satisfied that his gun is laid on target, the gun captain would approach the gun with his list fuse in his linstock and discharge the gun. I thank you all for watching this demonstration, and I trust you enjoyed it. Until we see each other again on the gun deck, cheerio.